Today we're going to look at some shortcuts using styles, shortcuts for picture boxes, clearing your picture list, and shortcuts for pages in your book. Just before we get started, if there's an area or topic in the editor that you wish you could save time on, whether it be using page styles or text or whatever, please send us a question in the question box and we'll try and answer it at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Firstly, one of the best ways to save time is by finding ways to cut down on repetitive tasks. A good example is the copy and paste function. So copy and paste can be applied to picture boxes, text boxes, backgrounds, pretty much anything that you can select on the page of your photo book. Here's a simple example. Say you have a picture box with a border. In this example on the screen, I've changed the color to purple of the border and I've set the size to 15. Instead of adjusting the settings for another picture box, if I want it to be the same, I can simply copy and paste the original picture and then I just drag and drop a new image into the picture box. To do this on a Windows computer, you select Control-C on your keyboard to copy and then Control-V to paste. On a Mac computer, it's Command-C to copy and Command-V to paste. So let's have a look at how we can do this in an entire page. You can see here on the left page that I have a photo with a border and a drop shadow. And below I have a heading and some text. I've decided that I want to keep this same style and apply it to the next page. Instead of dragging an image onto the page and then applying the border and the drop shadow again and adding the text box, all of those things, I'm going to select everything on the page, which you can achieve by using the keyboard shortcut Control-A or Command-A on a Mac. And then once everything is selected, I'm going to copy and paste. After pasting, I can click and drag my content onto the next page. And now I can simply drag a new photo into the picture box to replace it and highlight my text to edit without losing the original settings. I will show you how to do this whole process in the editor a little bit later on. Now let's have a look at some handy shortcuts when using picture boxes. This first one is something I only learned yesterday after working on this webinar, and I've been at Albumworks for 10 years and had no idea this existed, so I was quite excited. You can eliminate several clicks when you are trying to frame your cropped photo. The long way of doing this is you got to double click on the image and then click and drag your image around the frame and then apply your changes. The shortcut for this is holding the Alt key on your keyboard if you're on Windows or Option key on a Mac. When you hold down this key, you can click and drag your image to choose which part of the image you want to appear, like in the example on the slide, and I will show you this later too. If you want to swap two images on a page, there's a handy time saver to achieve this. There's no need to delete images and re-add photos to the page. Simply use your mouse to click and hold on one image until you see a transparent thumbnail appear with a green plus sign in the corner. Then you can drag, then you can drag the image to another picture box and it will swap the two images around. Just like in this example you can see on the slide. You can also use this feature to drag the image into an empty picture box as well. Using the undo shortcut can save you a lot of time. Often we make mistakes while designing our photo books, but the editor remembers every single task you perform. So on the chance you've made a mistake, you can always undo your last move or even undo your last 10 moves. Whether it's adding text, deleting pictures, changing your background, the undo shortcut can be applied to all. On Windows, use Control-Z, and on Mac, Command-Z. Just be aware that if you save your project and close it in the editor, this is the end of the session. And so the next time you open the project, you won't be able to undo moves from the previous session. All right, let's talk about clearing your picture box. The picture list, picture list, not picture box. The picture list on the left-hand side, this is what you can see here in the slide. This is where your imported photos appear. So you put them there to use in your project. Clearing your picture list is helpful for two reasons. Firstly, depending on how fast or up to date your computer hardware is, having a lot of images in your picture list can potentially slow down the performance of the editor software. You might find it takes a few seconds when changing pages in your project, or maybe it takes a while to load after dragging an image onto the page. This is because your computer is trying to access memory, or RAM, what's called RAM, in order to perform tasks in the editor. The more images you load into your picture list, the more memory is needed to run the editor. So we suggest adding a small number of photos to your picture list. Then, once you've added those photos into the pages of your book, you can remove them all from the picture list by selecting the cog at the top of the picture list and then selecting Clear Picture List from the drop-down menu. We highly recommend this if you think the editor is running slow. The second reason to clear it is for clarity in finding your images. If you have 100 or 1,000 photos in your picture list, it can be difficult to find a specific photo that you're after. So you might want to periodically clear individual pictures or the whole list if you've already added those photos to your pages. Remember that once photos have been added to your page, the editor sources those photos from their file path on your computer, so they don't need to be in the picture list anymore. Now let's take a look at shortcuts for pages in your book. A recently added feature to the editor is the Add Pages tool. That's in the editor toolbar. Previously, you were only allowed to add one double page spread at a time. This new tool allows you to specify exactly how many pages you want to add. So you could add 20 pages at a time or 100 in one go. There are also a range of keyboard shortcuts around page actions. Let me highlight 3 of the most common shortcuts that you might be interested in. Insert page. The shortcut is Control-I or Command-I, which will insert a double page spread immediately after the page you're currently on. The shortcut is the shortcut to delete the current page spread is Control-D or Command-D. Or if you want to duplicate the current page you're on, use Control-Shift-D or Command-Shift-D. Finally, if you realize that you've added pages in the wrong order, you don't need to redo those pages from scratch. You can click on the page menu from the top menu bar, then rearrange pages. And you can just swap the order of your pages on the screen. Keep in mind, you can only move double page spreads together. You can't move a single side. All right, let's have a look. Let's show you how to do some of these things in the editor. So I'm just going to open, I've got a project open here already, and I have already added some photos into my picture list on the left-hand side. The first thing I want to do is just show you a little bit of how to copy and paste. So I'm going to add a photo onto the page. Let's make it a bit bigger. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the cropping screen. There we go, nice and big. And I'm going to apply a border to the page. So over on the right-hand side, we'll click on border. I'll leave it as black, but I'll make it quite thick so you guys can see it. There we go, we've got a nice thick border. And I'll apply a drop shadow as well. So I'll just click on drop shadow, and that's there. I'm also going to add a text box. So I'll click on add text box, and I'll just put it underneath. We'll just make it a bit wider here, and we'll double click into it. And type, this is the gatehouse, Port Melbourne. Okay, I'm just going to make that text a more interesting font. So we'll just say Lucinda calligraphy, one I like. And I'll make it a little bit bigger just so you can see it. And we'll center it in the text box so that it looks centered under that photo. So there we go. We've set up a page quite nicely. What I want to do is continue that style on this opposite page. So rather than having to add another whole picture box, do all of that again, what I can do is press Control A I'm on a Windows, and that highlights everything. You'll see blue dots around both items. I'll then press Control C to copy. You won't see it anything because it's just copy to the clipboard. And when I press Control V to paste, it's copied it. It always puts it in the top left corner of the left page. But what I can do is just drag it over here. I can see it's aligned when I've got the green, these bright green lines at the top and bottom. It tells me it's aligned with the other photo, and just drop it there. Now I want to use a different photo, so all I have to do is drag the photo I want from my picture list, and it replaces it there. And then my text, I've still got the same font here, which is fine. All I have to do is change it to, I might just get rid of that and say Port Melbourne Beach. And I'm done. So that's a lot easier than having to apply my formatting every time. Another little trick actually with copying and pasting, if you've got something on a left-hand page, say it's a page number, you might have just added a little page number, say in the bottom corner. We'll just put say page 1. I won't worry too much about formatting. It's probably not going to like me doing this, but I won't format it too much. So say I want to copy that onto every left-hand page. You can't do every page at once, but you can Control C to copy, go to the next page. So we'll open up page 4, and then we can click Edit and Paste in Place. And what that does is put it in exactly the same position as it was in the previous page. And then I can just change it to page 4, whatever. So that's quite useful if you want something to be pasted in the same spot on each page. All right, so next let's have a look at what I was talking about, framing an image. So say I have this photo in a smaller box like this, you're not showing the whole of your photo, only a part of it. And I want to decide which part of the photo to show. I don't really want to see this bit, I want to see the gatehouse building itself. If I hold down the Alt key and then click on this picture, I can actually decide which part of the picture is showing. So I can see how I'm moving it from left to right. So I can actually frame the photo to show the building of the gatehouse. So that's quite a nice little shortcut. I can also swap images. So I'm going to just undo what I've done. So Control Z to undo, and I'll just undo it again to get my picture back. Now let's show you how to swap images. Say I want to swap these two on the pages. So I just click and hold on one of them, and see I get a little thumbnail with that green plus sign. Then I can just drag it across to here, and it swaps them over. I might have another picture box on the page, say down here, and I actually really want to move a photo into that box. I can click and hold again, and I get the little thumbnail, and I can drag it there, and it puts it in that box and makes this one blank to put something else in there. Again, as I said, if I don't like it, I can undo, so Control Z to undo, or you can also press this red dot with the arrow here, which is the undo button, and that will undo the last thing that I've done. I can keep clicking it till that box goes away. Okay, let's see how to clear the picture list. So I have got a few photos here. I've already added all them to my book. I don't need them to be in this list anymore. So I click on the cog at the top, and I can just click on Clear Picture List, and they're gone. Then I can add the next lot of pictures that I want. Adding pages, I'll show you. There's this page options button here. Click on Add Page. It asks me how many pages I want to add, and also whether I want to add them before or at the end. I'm going to say add them at the end. So I'm just going to add, let's say, 20 pages, and we'll click OK. So it's added. I've now got 60 pages in my book, and it's also told me that because I've added so many pages, the spine on my cover is going to change. So it's telling me to check my cover design. So the reason is, as your book gets thicker, your spine needs to get thicker to hold those extra pages. So if I go to the cover, the area here indicating the spine has actually gotten a bit thicker. So if you've already designed your cover, you need to just check that everything's still aligned on there. The other thing I was going to show you was how to insert pages. So say I'm on here and I decide I want to insert a page. I just press Control-I, and it actually puts another page before the one I'm on. I think I said after before, but it's a page before. And I've changed my mind. I don't really want it. I can delete it by doing Control-D to delete. It says, are you sure you wish to delete? And I will say yes, and it's gone again. Lastly, let's talk about rearranging pages. So I click on the page menu at the top, rearrange pages, and it brings up a list of all my pages other than the first or last page because they're single pages and can't be rearranged. So say I want to move pages 2 and 3 down, I can just drag it down to wherever I want, drag it there or further. You can, or put it back up, you can do whatever you like and change the arrangement. Okay, so that's all we've got time for today. If you have any questions, please send them through while I do a quick recap, and then I'll answer your queries. So just what we've talked about today, these time-saving tips, using the copy and paste functions are great time savers. Remember the shortcuts to frame your photos, swapping photos, and adding and deleting pages. Undo shortcut is always handy. I use it all the time, and it's a good idea to clear your picture list from time to time just to make your life easier. Okay, let's have a look to see if anyone has any questions. Okay, Glenda has asked if you can clear just a few photos rather than all of them. Yes, but it's a bit, you have to do one photo at a time, so it is a little bit more tedious. So say let's just add some photos. I'll just add a few photos here. To do that, you just right click on the photo in the list, and then you can say remove picture. So if say you've already used this photo, you get a little blue one on it saying it's been used. I can then remove it, so remove picture. As I said, yeah, it is a bit tedious. You've got hundreds. It might be easier to just clear the picture list instead. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Last chance. I'm guessing it all made sense if we haven't got any queries, which is great. Looks like everybody's happy. They are pretty easy concepts, and a lot of these are just normal Windows or Mac shortcuts like copy and paste. It's not just our program, you can do it in Microsoft Word and other programs. Same with undo and highlighting everything there. These are just normal keyboard shortcuts. All right, well, looks like no other questions. So just to finish off, I will remind you that you're always welcome to call our customer service team if you need any help. We're here Monday to Friday, Melbourne time, from 9 a.m, but we are now staying here until 7 p.m. for the pre-Christmas period. So you've got a bit later in the evenings to call us if you need to. We're also here on Saturday mornings, at least 9 till 12, sometimes longer. Our number is 1300 553 448. You can also reach us by email at service@albumworks.com.au, or you can talk to us via live chat from our website. You can also head to our website, which is albumworks.com.au, to view our current promotion. That's our Christmas early bird special. You can save up to 38% off our entire product range, and there's no minimum spend. If you want to view our past webinars, just head to our YouTube channel. Just Google Albumworks YouTube, and it should come up pretty quickly. It's easy to find. Our production team are working as usual. There may be some slight delays in delivery, so you can read about that on our website. If you have got Christmas orders, we'd suggest getting them in as early as possible, because it's going to be a busy Christmas with a lot of people ordering